I've committed to going back and watching games of these quarterbacks just to familiarize myself with them and giving you some just impressions just based off the games. I find it, or I don't know if it's more valuable or not, but I prefer to see a guy in a game situation from end to end versus like a highlight clip, either a highlight or low light clip. I want to know like what the score is, what the situation is, what happened on the play before, right? Your team jumps off sides because the stupid guard jumped. Now it's 3rd and 15. The crowd's up, and I can see how you come to the line of scrimmage and then set up and then like execute that play. I just feel there's more value in that versus just sort of a cut up in a highlight reel where you don't really know what the situation is. So I've watched full games of J.J. McCarthy, Drake May, a couple of them. Now I've started Jayden Daniels. So I went back and I watched Alabama, just thinking high-level competition, high-leverage spot. They were at Alabama, so tough spot. And, that I think was the best throw from Jayden Daniels. It was early in the, I think maybe late in the second quarter. It was a brilliant ball down the right sideline that was a great throw and a maybe even better catch where Neighbors got 1 foot in bounds, and it was like elite throw, elite catch. Both those guys, first-round talent, send them to the NFL. They're playing on Sundays. Tremendous. The rest of it, I don't want Jayden Daniels. Which notice I am saying that intentionally. Which I'm not saying he sucks. I'm not saying that I wouldn't take him, but I don't want him. It's just too run dependent, Maz. It's just he's too his running is too integral to what he does.
Stylistically, it's not your preference, is what it is.
Which I just haven't seen it. I just haven't seen it win at a high level in the NFL yet. And I say consistently win at a consistently high level. And which isn't to say I wouldn't take it. Like, I'm not an idiot. I always say this about Lamar Jackson. Of course I would take him. Of course I would take Lamar Jackson over Jared Goff. I would take him over an average quarterback. But I wouldn't start there. I wouldn't want Lamar Jackson, just like I don't want Jayden Daniels. And let me just say first, Jayden Daniels can throw. And that's why I started with that throw. He made some great throws in that game. That sideline ball to Neighbors was tremendous. My favorite throw was on a touchdown pass over the middle in which he just sort of drilled it over the middle of the field, and his receiver, it wasn't Neighbors, spun and ran the final 9 yards in. But it was kind of a tight window throw. He had to sort of hang in there. He threw it over the middle. He put pace on it into a little window. It was a great throw. The receiver did the rest, and it was like, okay, like he can throw. And there's some inaccuracy there, but it's not that he can't throw. It's just that it felt like every scoring drive, he had some sort of big run that was central to them scoring. It's like he ran in this game, this freaking game. He ran 11 times for 163 yards and a touchdown. And it would have been more, but one came back on a clip. So, if you include that yards, he was almost close to 200 yards rushing and a touchdown. And what was awful is that the other kid, the Jalen Milroe, the quarterback for Alabama, was just as bad. Milroe ran 20 times for 155 yards and 4 touchdowns. So I'm watching this game. I'm like, this is like one of these bad touch football games in my backyard where after the 5 Mississippi rush, you allow the quarterback to run.
Yeah.
And it's the quarterback running all over the place. Like, I'm not here to have jackass here run around with the football. Like, we're playing catch, throw the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
I hate those games. So this whole game was just the quarterback tucking and running. Boring to me. Now, look, that's a slight exaggeration because, again, Daniels threw some great balls. Neighbors in this game caught 10 catches for 171 yards and a score. So, look, there were some throws. But it was just too much tucking the ball and running around. And Daniels is an amazing runner. He runs like a maniac. He's terrific. There was one play, I quite literally think he might have broken an Alabama player's ankles, or it looked that way, where the Alabama player, literally his ankles caught in the ground and he fell over himself. because Daniels deked him out so bad. A devastating runner, tremendous speed, explosiveness. And I mostly fast forwarded through the Alabama stuff, but like Milroe was doing it too. So it's like the NFL game isn't played like that. You just can't run around like an idiot. I'm saying that for a fact. He's not an idiot, but you can't run around like that.
Well, he did get knocked out of this game.
Okay, well, I was going to get to that.
Okay, sorry.
So, but he didn't get knocked out running. He was in the pocket and took a tremendous shot on the chin. And it was called roughing the passer, and the Alabama rusher, and this was late. This was the fourth quarter. And he got it right on the chin, on the crown of the helmet, and like it was a real shot. He took a tremendous blow. And he came back after one play. I'm like, oh, okay. And now I'm trying to like piece the stuff together. Is that what Gerard Mayo was talking about, toughness? You got to know that when you get hit, you get back up, you get back on the field. I'm like, I'd be interested to know if that's what Mayo was referring to. Because Daniels, he should have been in the concussion pro. He only missed a snap. He came back. But then after that one play that he came back and they didn't pick up the first down, he sat out the rest of the game. So he did go to the blue tent and he never came back. And the backup finished the rest of the game. So he came back for a play and that was it. So I'm curious, was that a good sign that he came back for the play? Did the doctors not let him finish the game? Did he say, that's it, I'm done? Did he raise a flag? I'd be curious to know all those things. Because they would too, right? Like if you're at the NFL level, they want you coming in, they don't care about your concussion. They want you back on the field. And I'd be interested to know, did he gut through it? Did they look at him positively for coming back on the field? Do they look at him a little sideways saying, well, he actually sat out the rest of the game? I don't know. I'd be curious to know that. But that's what happened at the end of the game. Either way, it's just that there's just too much running. There's too much running. And he's great at it. And I know at the NFL it's gotten more mobile and more running quarterbacks. I got it. But he's not going to be able to do it. Like, 24 yards, 28 yards, 9 yards for a touchdown, 40 yards, another 30, 40-yarder brought back on the, just all over the place. It's like, can you have a drive where you're just running and throwing? He's in the shotgun the entire time, as most of these guys are, but he's in the shotgun the entire time. It's mostly that same action of that, that read option stuff, that RPO stuff, I mean to say, where he's, riding the running back and then he's taken off himself, or it's the same kind of running play. I don't know. It's just...
So much of that is college football, though. So
I know.
If you wanted to give him one more chance, because this is the guy I want because I just find him electric, the game the year prior against Alabama, he's awesome in. And they win in overtime, and he got sacked a whole bunch, like 6 or 7 times. And there was a lot of running, too, but not as much as last year's game. And they win that game. And he's a big part of it. So, last year it wasn't a good showing there, but...
Yeah, I don't think he was bad. I'm not telling you he was bad. I just don't like this.
He was better the year prior.
You don't like the style.
I don't like the style.
Okay.
It's just, he's too devastating. So I know that when he gets to the pros, they'll say he can't run like that and he's not going to run like that. And I know when they get to the pros, part of the whole thing's going to be he's going to have to stay back in the pocket. And we're going to try and, rein him in. And you have to throw to win in the league. And I know they're going to work on that. But he's so devastating. And the yards are so there that the temptation's always going to be to tuck it and run. Because he can do it every time. And it's like, I don't want that. I want the guy running, scrambling to set up his next throw. I want him to run to avoid the rush and then reset and now throw from there. And Burt Breers had this great stat that last year, Jayden Daniels tucked it or, moved off his spot and started to scramble and threw only 16 times. Pretty much every time that he got off his first read, tucked the ball, he was off, out the gate. And I don't want it. I don't want it. Would I take it? Would I take him over Mac Jones or Jacoby Brissett or Bailey Zappi or some scrub? Yes, of course I would take it. If that's my only option, I don't want it. I don't want it.
See, I've reached the point with him because of what you've said and how I think the Patriots are still going to operate. I've almost written him off. Like, I've reached the point because I don't think they want to turn their offense over to a quarterback who is going to run as much as Daniels is. And again, my concern with Daniels is the physique. He won't hold up. Not built like that.
And my big board, Drake May barely over J.J. McCarthy, then Jayden Daniels. Because I just, You got to change your whole offense. It's the running is going to be so central to what he does, no matter how hard you try not to. He's too good at it for you not to do it. And then, again, he made some good throws, less than 5. He can hit a wide open guy like you read about. There were plenty where the guy's wide open, uncovered. He hit those, no problem, with good pace. But then there were a bunch where he would try and hit a check down back shoulder, throw a wide receiver screen behind him, lost yards. Little flare out by the tight end, over his head behind him, caught but now off stride and brought down for no gain. Like there were a lot of those, several of those. Little dinky throws where no, that's got to be right there on the out shoulder. That's easy, in stride. He doesn't have to break stride, yards after the catch, and you didn't do it. And then I thought he threw into coverage quite a bit. There were quite a few breakups by Alabama, by players in the Alabama secondary. And so I looked at that and said, is he just going to one place? Because he was throwing to guys that were covered. And they weren't bad throws, they were just covered and batted away. So it was, was he not going through progressions and finding open guys? I wondered about that. I mean, he's impressive. I'm not going to tell you he sucks. I'm not going to tell you I wouldn't take him. But I'd rather go with someone that has more of a chance to be a pure passing quarterback.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Maz here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.